So you've had your brand new Japanese knife for a couple days, few weeks, maybe a month now. You're super happy with it. It's performing amazingly, but it's missing that certain je ne sais quoi, that little extra something something that made it super special when you first got it. So it's time to get it sharpened. I can remember the first time I got a Japanese knife, and I remember how terrifying it was to touch it to the stones for the first time. So in today's video, I thought we'd go over some of the do's and don'ts of what you should or should not do when sharpening your brand new Japanese knife for the first time. So stay tuned for that, but first, a quick word from our sponsors. Never gets old. So good news here is that if you're joining us within the first month or two of your knife's life, you're gonna have an easy time getting it sharpened, making it feel razor sharp again like it was when it was brand new. Chances are all you're going to have to do is hone your knife on a higher grit stone or on a honing rod, and it will be performing like it was when it was brand new. We're going to throw up a quick chart here that's going to sort of outline very roughly what stone grit you would likely start on, depending on how long you've been using your knife since it was last sharpened. All right, so you've consulted the chart. You know where you're at, how long it's been since you've sharpened your knife, and roughly what stone you're going to use. For our purposes, we're going to assume that you've been using your knife for about a month, so we're going to be grabbing our 1000 grit stone. If you're just looking to start with one stone, we would recommend that this be the one you started on, regardless of where you sort of landed on the chart. If you landed higher up, so you are in need of less work on your knife, you can still lighten up on your hand pressure on the 1K grit stone and get a really, really nice polished edge. Likewise, for the lower grit stones, if our chart told you you should be on a lower grit than a 1000, you can still achieve good results with a 1000 grit stone. You may just have to spend a little bit more time sharpening your knife because the 1K is not going to remove material as quickly as some of the more coarser grits out there. So the purpose of this video is to make sharpening as accessible and approachable as possible. We want to get across to you guys that anyone can learn to sharpen their knife, and you really don't need the fanciest tools out there to get the job done. When you're first learning, it's really more about technique rather than the exact equipment that you're using. You may have been told that you need like a leather strop, a stone holder, like 15 different whetstones, a flattening device, all this stuff, a sink bridge. But really all you really need is a 1000 grit whetstone and you're off to the races. So you have your stone, and you may have been told that you need like a flattening device, and we would assert that you definitely do need some sort of device to flatten your stone. This is really, really important to achieving good results, but it's not necessary that you have a flattening specific tool like a truing stone or an Atoma diamond plate. While both of these tools are definitely very luxurious to have and are going to make the process a lot easier, you could use another whetstone to flatten your whetstone. You could use the sidewalk outside to flatten your whetstone. You could use a piece of sandpaper. There are lots of different techniques that you can use out there. So keeping your stone as flat, but a flattening specific tool is not super necessary right off the bat. You may also have been told that you need a strop. There are many alternatives to a leather strop, whether that be the belt that you're wearing right now or maybe a stack of newspapers. Both of these things could do a great job at honing your knife, and maybe down the road you think about adding a strop, like a very specific high-end cool strop, maybe for instance the Sharp Knife Shop strap. Lastly, you may have been told you need a sink bridge or a stone holder. And again, you're probably catching on to the pattern here. While both of those tools would make your sharpening journey a lot more enjoyable, they're not necessary. There are other things that you can do to hold your stone in place, i.e. putting a towel next to it, working right next to the sink so your hand kind of falls over top of the sink and you've got room for your knuckles as you move across. Again, down the road, maybe you can think about adding a sink bridge or a stone holder to your sharpening kit, but it's not super necessary right off the bat. Next, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room here and what is probably holding you back the most, which is the possibility of damaging your knife. So what I would encourage you to do before you sharpen your brand new 300-400 upwards Japanese knife is practice on some crappy knives that you have kicking around the house. And if you don't have crappy knives kicking around the house, you can always go to the dollar store, pick up a crappy knife there, and get the feel for the process before moving on to something that you actually really care about. Now, this is actually a great exercise, and I would encourage everyone to do this because you'll likely have a more difficult time sharpening the crappy knife that you purchased from the dollar store than you will sharpening your brand new Japanese knife. But again, when we're doing this, we're trying to get the sort of motion down, create some muscle memory so that when we do move on to the more expensive Japanese knife, you're feeling confident and secure in what you're doing, and you are less likely to make any mistakes that could be really detrimental to the life of your knife. So the last point I want to make today is basically to just go for it. The best way to learn to sharpen a knife is to start sharpening your knives. You can watch 1,000 videos on YouTube on the subject, but until you touch your knife to the stone, you're not going to learn anything really valuable about the sharpening process. Chances are, if you use an angle that's within an acceptable range, you won't cause any serious damage to your knife. Anywhere between 10 and 30 degrees is going to function just fine for your Japanese knife. Just keep in mind that you don't want your knife completely flat to the stone, and you don't want to be angled up too much, or else you'll create an obtuse angle on your knife, which isn't going to cut super well. Vice versa, if you're too flat to the stone, you're going to cause scratch marks up the side of your knife. Jake and I would say that if you were to err on one side or the other, that you want to be angled up a little bit too far rather than angled down too far, as those scratch marks that you leave when angled too close to the stone are going to be very difficult to remove. So, Jake, the man behind the camera.
For like 2 seconds.
Okay. Just made a great point here. Take your time. I know that we just said go for it, but go for it in a controlled manner. You don't need to be, speed is not important. Going super fast is not going to help you out. What you really want to do is just take your time, nice, long, consistent strokes. That's the most important part of sharpening is picking an angle and being consistent with it. Take your time, and like we said, don't rush through the process because it's not going to make things any sharper. Chances are it's just going to ruin your knife. So there you have it, guys, some tips and tricks for sharpening your brand new Japanese knife for the first time. Again, I know how scary this can be, so if you're looking for a buddy to hold your hand through the first time, Jake and I are happy to be that buddy for you. Send us a message on Instagram or email, or leave a comment in this video down below, and we'll make sure to answer you and hopefully help you get through your first sharpening experience without being too mentally scarred. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more knife-related content. And until the next video, stay sharp.